Good evening, everybody. Uh, Today we are having for the press conference two international film personalities. One is David. He is from Brazil, Colombia, and Mr. João Pedro Mamet, Portuguese. So we have two films screened yesterday in the international section for World Panorama. The first one is Le Frontier, that is frontier border in Spanish. The plot of the story is like this. Amid a political crisis on the border between Colombia and Venezuela, an Andean woman, her husband and brother live on looting travelers. However, fate pushes her to the brink of illusion and getting lost in mysterious dreams. This movie, Love Frontier, has been screened in Cairo International Film Festival, Cartagena in Colombia, and Gramado in Brazil, winning 4 awards for Best International Feature, Best Screening, and for 2 more awards for the actress. Frontiera is the feature film debut by director David that proposes a story of otherness, empathy, and resilience set in the Colombian Guajira. Right? Thank you.
Very good.
So, the second movie we are having with the actor of the movie is The Domain. It was shot in 2019. The movie portrays the chronicle of a Portuguese family that owns one of the largest estates in Europe on the south bank of the river Tagus. It chronicles their fortunes change across 45 years. Thiago Gazis directed the movie in a measured and controlled way throughout, with impressive technical contributions. And Mr. João Pedro Mamet is known for his work on the movie Domain and also Letters from War in 2016 and Moral Order in 2020. He played the role of Miguel in the movie The Domain. Now let us, I ask Mr. David to say something about his movies, please.
To say something.
Why you made this movie, first of all, please let us know.
Well, I am from the Caribbean coast at the north region of Colombia, and I had the chance to go abroad and study in Barcelona, in Spain. It was around 2016. And going back home was really difficult for me in order to readapt to all the things that I left before I went to study to Spain. So the border was that opportunity that I was looking after to reconnect with the things that I knew that there were back at home. And there were many questions that I was making to myself, and it was because of the environment that I found when I went back. I felt like it was very, very dense, I felt like we were not connecting as a country, we were not connecting internationally. For example, in 2016, in Colombia, we were trying to sign for a peace a deal, the government with the Colombian guerrilla, was trying to sign for a peace deal. And as a country, we were very polarized. We didn't want, some people didn't want the deal to be signed the way it was written, and some other people was struggling to make it to be signed. So we were not connecting as a country. And it happened also between Colombia and Venezuela, because Venezuela had a massive migration of people due to their economical crisis. And we as Colombians were not able to take them in as peers. I mean, we were feeling somehow like they were a threat for us. And at the same time, I remember that Donald Trump was running for presidency of the United States, and he was talking about building this border between Mexico and Colombia and the United States. And when I left Spain, there was Catalonia trying to get separated from the rest of Spain. So it was like everywhere around me. I felt like we were not connecting. We are supposed to be living in a globalized world. We are supposed to be feeling proud about it, about how we have the chance to connect immediately with somebody that is many miles away from us, but we haven't been able to find the better ways to communicate. So the border was that answer that I found to these questions, and somehow the title was one of the first things that came up, and for me it became like a metaphor of many things that I wanted to tell through the story. I don't know if that's brief enough. Thank you.
So we like the movie.
I'm sorry?
I already seen the movie yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Beautifully made.
Thank you.
What was the reaction in Colombia after this movie has been screened in Cartagena?
Well, actually, that's something that I haven't been able to enjoy because of the pandemic. Because in Cartagena we had 4 screenings, and 3 of them were the official screenings, and one was like a special screening that they had for people with disabilities, with visual disabilities. So that was the only screening that I had to have in Cartagena. The 3 official ones had to be canceled due to the pandemic. So I haven't been able to see the reaction the way I have been able to see it in other places like in Egypt or here. But we are trying to find that space. The film was also screened in Cali. That's another city at the other coast of Colombia in the Pacific. Cartagena is by the Caribbean. And there, this happened in November, the festival, so it's more recent, and the people was really happy about the film, and the film won a special mention there from the members of the jury. So thankfully it has been well received by the people, but the few people that have been able to watch it.
One more question. Has the Colombian government, changed its stance towards the migrants from Venezuela?
Change the political
political approach of
Uh,
accommodating them?
Well, not that much. I mean, the issues are there not only because of the standards of the Colombian government, but because of the issues that the Venezuelans have as a country. I mean, we have been able to give to them the opportunity to come to the country, but as a country we have been dealing with this process of a war of more than 50 years, so somehow there are many opportunities for many of us. So we need like to find a way to come together and work together as a, let's say, a new country. I would say, because there are many Colombians that went to Venezuela around the 90s to work there, because it was there were better chances back then in Venezuela, and now they are coming back to Colombia as Colombians again. So somehow we cannot forget that what happened, that Venezuela was a better place to live in around the 90s, and nowadays it's the opposite way. So we need like to find a way to make it work for everyone. But I don't think it depends that much on the government, but it's something that we as a community have to learn how to deal with it. What?
So that is coming to the second movie of the domain. Actually, the name of the movie, original title was Herdate.
Herdade.
Herdate. Okay. So this is the Portuguese language movie. The movie is in Portuguese language.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Any awards the movie has gained during its screening anywhere in the world?
This is a movie very dear to the people who made it. It took around 10 years to get shot, and it shows a glimpse of Portuguese society before and after the revolution that ended the dictatorship we were living in, through the very intimate point of view of this very special family. Yeah, these are the few words I can say about the picture. Any questions?
The plot, why you have chosen for the story, what prompted you to select this plot for this movie?
What?
The idea of the story.
The idea of this a tricky question, because the movie portrays a reality that really existed in some families in South Portugal. There's actually one family, one real family, very similar to this one. And the idea was to, I believe it comes from a very deep desire of the producer to make a movie about an epic character, an imperfect character that goes through Portuguese history, contemporary history, I would say.
So it is 1946 from beginning.
Yeah, 1946 it begins, then 1974 it's the revolution, and it goes till the 90s.
So the location you have identified is an open area
Open area?
on the banks of the river.
It's a real location.
Estate.
A real estate, yeah, a really big property in South Portugal, near the rice fields and very other cultures. I don't know how to say this in English. Because there was a big change in agriculture workers at the time also. the empowerment of workers is a thing that also sh shines in the
They are
movie.
demanding to get work.
Hmm.
They ask we should get work from this.
Their wage, their salary. Yeah.
It was a very good journey. We saw the movie yesterday, and there is a speciality of movie. My observation: smoking, drinking, and driving. That was the. I think actors in the movie, they must have smoked more than 100 cigars.
Yes, there's a lot
That
of
is
smoking
what I
in
have
the movie.
noticed, and
Yeah.
more than 50 glass of alcohol.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the movie, kind of. But I enjoyed the location, the performance, characterization, very good characters, actors. Who was doing a lead? Your father's character,
Hmm.
amazing, and mother.
Amazing Albano Jerónimo and
Yeah.
Sandra Faleiro.
And one scene I saw you and between mother and the son, and you reveal
Hmm.
some relationship with uh, your father and the other Rosa,
Hmm.
some lady.
Character.
Beautiful, beautiful. It was a very good scene. You did a good job.
Thank
I think
you.
you must having long hair.
Yes,
Correct.
at the time.
This question is to you again. I'm Siraj Sayed, India correspondent for filmfestivals.com. I'd like to ask you whether you have ever visited Goa before. And secondly, are you aware of the long colonial rule that Portugal had over Goa and which lasted till 1962? Some thoughts on the relationship. There are a lot of Goans who have migrated to Portugal also. So your views about this?
Actually, our prime minister comes from a Goan family. His father is from Goa. I don't know that much about colonial history. I can tell there's a big influence in some architecture here and the building of churches, etc. But I really want to know more and there's a big path to walk in terms of our dealing with our colonial history. So we must keep on sharing with each other.
Yes.
Amazing, very, very beautiful.
This is your first visit to Goa?
Yes, first timer. Yeah,
And I'm sure you would like to come here again and spend some more time.
of course. This has been a very short trip, I would say.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
live in Lisbon somewhere?
Uh-huh. Lisbon. Yeah.
I've been to Lisbon. There is an organization called Bharti Vidya Bhavan.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to there and we are performing there.
Oh, nice.
Theatre. So amazing.
Anybody else would like?
Yeah. Watch the movie. Good movie. Very good performance. Wishing you great success. Watching
Thank you.
all the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yeah, very good afternoon. This is to David. You have majorly in two halves you have played only with three characters. First it was only with wife, husband and brother. Afterwards two strangers will come in replacement. So what is the significance if there was any consciously thought of only three characters to play around? And finally we were expecting during the baby birth it will be a new form of life to her. But you make the baby during the birth as a death. So what thoughts on you
Don't
making
give
by
spoilers. Don't give spoilers away.
death? Thank you.
Well, I mean, Um, I wanted to create some kind of like a mirror for this main character on what she believed was the ideal of the perfect family. I mean, she had somehow a very difficult situation at the beginning of the film because she was living in an extreme poor situation. But as the story develops, you realize that she was somehow happy in the way that she was living. And once the first twist of the story came around the first act, she started to to realize how good she was before when she was with her husband and her brother. So she's struggling to get that feeling back, to get that family back. That's why there are some other characters that she once they get into her life, she tries to to convert them into family somehow, and at the same time she clashes against the people that she believes that is not going on that direction. I mean, she has conflicts with the Venezuelan girl because she believes that she is going to she's like a threat for her in order to be with this man that comes one day to her house and that she believes that can be like a father figure to her newborn, to her child. So I wanted to do this exercise of creating like a dynamic between the characters where they were creating the new families, because I feel like when we are not connecting as a society and we feel like we need to set some barriers between each other, the irony is that we feel alone, and somehow we don't like to be alone, but we restrain ourselves to be together, right? So one of her deepest fears is to be alone in life, but at the same time she is setting a barrier between her and the other people, and she has to deal with it, and she has to learn how to not to do that anymore, because she needs to connect better with the people around her.
Any more questions?
Hello. Were you very eager to visit Goa for this IFFI?
I'm sorry,
Were you very eager to visit Goa
Are you
for this
interested, are
IFFI?
you interested in visiting Goa once again?
oh yes, I am, surely, yeah.
And,
Very nice here.
and do you have any idea to get in tie up with entertainment industry between between your country Portuguese and India?
Yeah, sure. The, um,
Would you like to
Sure.
promote Goa in your country?
yes, we should move. We should do films together.
Sure. Thank you.
Hi.
Prime Minister was the chief guest for here in 2017. The Prime Minister of Portugal was the chief guest for here. Government of India conducted event Pravasi Bharat Divas year 2017. So it was held in India. It's biennial event for NRIs to come back here. That one. So the Portugal Prime Minister was the chief guest, and he had visited India, and even post that event and all, he visited Goa and went back further Portugal, his ancestors' house and all. Just to add on information. Yeah.
Nice.
I think let's come back to films. I have a question to Mr. David. I watched your film yesterday evening. I had two queries. The first one is the husband, wife, and brother. They all are muggers. The opening scene starts with them mugging a group of people traveling. And later on, when the first twist comes, you are saying not to reveal the spoilers. The wife learns that the audience comes to know that she is very good with knitting, and there is also a shop nearby. There are also people nearby whom she can beg to. So when there are so many opportunities of livelihood, there is also a river from where they can take water. That's all shown later on. So my first question is why when three of them are present, why they choose to do rob people in the first place, and when there were other means of livelihood available. And my second question is when that injured man comes to her, and he becomes conscious after a day or two. Then in a photograph, she asks him whether she is the sister of him, but he mentions that she is his girlfriend, and she seems to be little annoyed or agitated. Was there any reason behind that scene, or I wanted to ask that question. That's it.
Okay, well, about the opportunities of job for them, the opportunities were going dry like the river. I mean, she knew how to knit. That's something that the Wayu community, the Wayu indigenous community has as a gift. They make beautiful handcrafts. But like there is another scene also where we realized that she went to school and she was like she did like till until second grade, and she went to school every day after 1 hour bike after a 1 hour bike drive with her brothers, but they had to leave because they had to find another opportunities in new places. They had a place to make furniture, but there was no people around that they could sell the furniture to. The river was, there is a documentary about this situation that is called the Stolen River. The river was stolen from them, actually, with the permission of the government. There is a mining company that made some frontiers, some barriers to the river, and now they cannot get in and get the water that was there for them for many years. So somehow the opportunities are lacking nowadays for them, right? So I wanted to portray the fact that they had the skills to make some other things, but somehow they have to do what they are doing. Right at the moment. And I wanted to show them on this situation of being muggers at the beginning, because somehow it's a way like to get to know not the hero, not the traditional hero of the story, but that kind of hero that comes from a dark place. And somehow you are invited to come and see how they have to deal with this life that they have, right? For the second question, well, actually, that's related with what I answered to your colleague about how I wanted to create this feeling that she felt that Miguel, this guy that came one day and was injured and was unconscious for 2 days, she felt like he was the new opportunity that she had to find a father figure for her child, right? So she felt like she was doing whatever she had to do in order to get there, in order for him to stay with her as a partner. But when she was asking about this photograph, she started to realize that no, that he had another story, he had a life, probably he would want to go back to that life right after he get well of his wounds.
And he does.
And he does. Well, don't give spoilers away. So yeah, that's the reason after that scene.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody?
What was the idea for you to make this film behind this whole thing?
The
Sorry,
what?
I just came
Take
in.
mine.
It's okay.
So I don't know whether the question is asked, and I'm afraid that I haven't even seen your movie. But because I am of Portuguese descent also, I was curious.
He's the
He's the
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yeah, I'm the Portuguese.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were both were. So what was the idea behind making this particular film, Border?
The border is Colombian, and the domain is from Portugal.
Oh, I'm sorry. He told me about Border, so.
If you want to
I'm-
ask any questions
I'm-
on domain, you can ask him, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. No, I haven't even seen that film, so forgive me. I was given to understand that you both made a film called Border. So
Both are two different
he's
films.
an actor for another film. Okay. Sorry,
It's okay.
If you have any questions, please.
I haven't seen the
Anybody?
film, so I cannot even ask a question. I'm sorry.
So any more questions, please?
It's okay.
Sir, okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to this press conference. On behalf of PIB, I extend all warm welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.